We're here in Castletown, opposite the old police station. With me is the ex-Chief Minister of the Isle of Man, of course, Tony Brown. How have you got on for this one? Just a man of interest on this, what they're going to do with it. I mean, no official position, right?
No official position, just a resident of Castletown and somebody who, throughout my political career, had a very strong view on retaining and developing Castletown's historical past. And the police station, I believe, is an integral part of a collective of buildings in the town, which are already owned by Manx National Heritage, in my view, should own this, and it could be transferred at no cost.
But they don't own it, do they? National Heritage don't own it?
Well, they don't, but government does, and Manx National Heritage, by extension, is linked to government. I mean, we're basically looking at what is really a paper exercise. The money goes round in a circle. And sometimes, decisions have to be made, my view anyway, and always has been, because it's in the best interest of the island as a whole. And whilst many may say, well, it's only an old police station, what does it matter? The point is, it's a police station of some merit in design, and that won't change. But also, importantly, its history linked to Castletown Castle and to the town is actually quite good, and is quite unique in a way.
It looks in fairly good nick from the outside.
Yeah, from the exterior, of course it's in good nick. I mean, over the years there's been money spent on it, modifying it and so on. But it's a limestone building, it's solid limestone. I've worked in it when I was an electrician, so I know exactly what it's like. I've been up in the roof space and everything. And it is a very, very sturdy building. But there are limitations on what you can do with it, because of course you can't alter internal walls because they're also solid limestone. So the thing I think that's more important is, when government looks to dispose of properties, as always, should look at whether or not there is actually another use for it that can benefit the island as a whole. And to me, this is part of the story of man. It should be part of that story.
I mean, I've heard him talk about the future of the grammar school, but I don't know if you've heard that. I mean,
No.
Do you think there will be that interest still from Manx National Heritage to keep these things going?
Well, the point is there should be, and if there's a funding problem, that's a matter for government to deal with, and MNH and those who are responsible for it to work with. I think the important thing is that the Isle of Man has a unique history, because we are a nation in our own right. We might not be sovereign, but clearly as a Manx nation, we've never been part of the United Kingdom. There have been influences on the Isle of Man from the United Kingdom, quite clearly, but there's lots of things that we've done in our own way, because we've had our own independent legislature and our own independent judiciary.
So a police museum or something like that, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it could have a number of uses, and this is where its value for money does come in. One is it could be a police museum, because the Isle of Man Constabulary has a history of its own. It was a divisional headquarters for the south here, but the whole history of the Isle of Man Constabulary could be portrayed in there. Also, it could be a shop for Manx National Heritage, and therefore move out the shop that's presently here in Castletown over there. It could also then be combined as a tourist information centre to provide the south of the island with a proper tourist information centre, which we don't have.
A few people are scratching their heads like selling this one, yet Port Erin, isn't it? The modern one, they've kept that one, which is just,
Well, yes, I mean, the Port Erin building that was only built about 15 years, maybe 20 years ago now, is not being used by the constabulary anymore, because they transferred back here to Castletown. And when they were transferring back here to Castletown, it was proposed that building would be sold off. Now that building's been retained in government ownership and is being used as some sort of training centre. Well, to be honest, that's the building you get rid of, not this one that has historical value, but not just historical value. It can actually play an integral part of the history of Castletown and the Isle of Man.
Well, it's going to release some money. The government needs money. This is what is going to the coffers, right?
Well,
the marquee needs it.
Well, I mean, to be honest, in this case, because it's already owned by government, the money is in a way secondary, because the money goes round in a circle. Basically, it's basically an accountancy exercise. And government could quite easily make the decision, as they have done with other things, to say yes, we think we should transfer this to Manx National Heritage, the ownership at no cost. I mean, a good example, is Niarble. Government missed the opportunity to buy Niarble, and then when it came back on the market, eventually Manx National Heritage, with the support of Tynwald, purchased the Niarble area and developed it into a cafe. But it could have been maybe done cheaper when it was going to be done originally. This is even a stronger case because it's owned by government.
Well, Manx National Heritage said that whoever takes it on can't do much to it. I mean, it's got to be retained, hasn't it, in its form now?
Well, of course it has. But you see, their statement that came out yesterday makes the point that it's a registered building and they'll do all they can to protect it. Well, we've got a good example of a registered building that's not being protected, and that's the Castletown. Of course, the external appearance won't change, and very little internally will change because of its structure. But that's not the point. It could become a house. It could become, and I suspect is likely to become, a sort of, a tourist house, a summer-let. Somebody who buys it as a holiday home, because it actually is very limited what you can do inside it. The point that's more important is there's an opportunity here for the nation to continue to own it and transfer it to Manx National Heritage.
Is there anything you can do?
Well, I've been lobbying my two MHKs. I first contacted them in February of this year and said what's happening to the police station. We were hearing whispers then of things going on, and I said I hope you're going to do what you can to retain this for the benefit of the Isle of Man. And don't forget, one of our MHKs, who's the minister, has a responsibility for culture. That's his role now. So part of his portfolio is culture. This is about our culture, our heritage. It's about the Isle of Man. It's about Castletown. And I think everything should be done to try and retain it. And I hope there's a political will to do something to safeguard this and get it transferred to Manx National Heritage so it can be used for the benefit of tourism, which is important. And of course our heritage, we know, plays an important part of that. But also the overall story of Castletown and the Isle of Man.